Welcome back, everybody, to all my comrades and fellow cohorts. So you know me, my name is Mike, and I have this platform called The Break Room. Now, Nikki, my guest, I call it The Break Room, BRAKE, because I feel like in life we should take time to stop, pump the brakes, and reassess where we are in life and where we're going. You know what I'm saying? So today I have you, Miss Nikki, Miss Darling Nikki.
How's it
Um,
going?
how you doing?
Not bad, you?
Good, can't complain. I feel like this is a long time coming of us just
Yeah.
chatting it up. We go back to the Skype OVO days.
Yeah, like it's been a while. Like how did we even meet? I can't even remember. It's been a while.
I want to say maybe 2011, 2010 to Twitter. Oh no,
Yeah. Yeah, it might have been Twitter.
yeah, blog era, Twitter era. You know what I'm saying? Like this, we're talking eons ago.
Right. Yeah. That's
We're
wild.
talking Obama first presidency era,
Right.
right?
But that's real cool though. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, I do remember from back then how how I found you very interesting back then. Really, what I found about you back then when we first started talking online and stuff is how much of a intellect you were, how creative you would come across and just your opinions and such. I always found you to be unique, not just in presentation, but also just in style. Style is a very big thing about you. One thing that popped out to
Thank
me
you.
about you back then was your style. Even now with the mesh backwards hat and the tee, like it's you. You know what I'm saying? It is
Yeah.
you. I don't know if you noticed, but earlier when I text, I had liked a video. Remember that throwback video you sent me of you making circles for me? We're talking 2010, 2011. You were smoking, I don't know if it was hookah. I forgot what you were smoking.
Oh my God.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh my
You had that short haircut.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did have that phase where I had short hair for a while.
Well, I mean, first of all, women are weird about not getting short haircuts. They're always
Uh,
apprehensive about it. It fit you well. So I
Thank
mean,
you.
so where were you at back then? Haircut included. Where were you at back then in life?
I mean, it started when I was in high school. Is when I first had short hair. My mom was like, "Hey, you should cut your hair, and have it look like Keisha from Total." I'm like, "All right," I was like, "Cool." And so that's the picture that we used. We brought a picture of Keisha from Total and
Nice.
chopped up my hair, and it we really liked it. So ever since then I was kind of back and forth, like, I'm sick and tired of having long hair, let me chop it. So I was just I'm sick of having long hair. That's really all it was. I just wanted something a little more easier to take care of, because long hair is easy, is
I
man.
mean, I can't relate, but
I mean, it's so that's what it was, really. That's all it was at that time. And then now I'm just like, I'm sick of getting haircuts. I just want to let it grow
really, it's a
and just
flip
let
now.
it. Yeah, now I'm just I just want to keep it going. And then,
But your hair looks long now.
oh yeah, it's real long. I haven't cut it in maybe 8 years now.
Yeah, I can tell.
8 or 9 years. It's real
You're on.
long now.
I could tell you're on some Slash Guns N' Roses tip. Like it's just long.
Yeah, it's real long now, and I'm just like, what? I'm just gonna keep it going, because what I want is, once it goes gray, because I'm like so against having chemicals and hair dye in my hair now and stuff like that, because just past experiences, it just it's damaging, and that was another reason why I had cut my hair the last time, because I had actually like bleached, not like totally bleached, but it was a type of bleaching to where my hair was lightened, and it ended up eventually kind of damaging my hair as it was growing out. So that was another big reason why I did a big chop. But eventually, when I go gray, I want long gray hair.
Man, wait, you're not great. I mean, we're still. I mean, you're. I'm turning 40 this year. What about you?
Yeah,
What
I
age?
turned 40 in December.
And you still. So you're 84. So you still don't have gray hairs.
No,
I
I'm
had
85.
84.
I'm
You're 85.
85. 85, yeah.
I have gray hairs all down here. Like that means your jeans are fire right now.
Thanks.
You have to have gray. Mind you, I don't really I don't really care to like to like not have gray hair. I think the gray hair
Right.
shows wisdom, it shows maturity. So it's dope to have gray hair. But two things. One, I grew up with an older sister. She's 4 years older than me.
Mhm.
So through her lens, through her watching her grow up, I had to literally like learn about the just the rigmarole of women's hair, how to upkeep hair. And now that I have three daughters, my middle daughter, we recently had to like kind of chop her hair a little bit and regrow it because, she was so big into getting braids. She
Mm.
would pull on the roots and get
Yeah.
those get those Jamaican braids where it's strong and pulls and you could tell how and one year, I mean 1 year, like 2 3 months, she left it in too long and like it just started to like mess with the root and whatnot and the stems. So you know, we had to like really cut it off pretty much and start anew. And I had to really like take ownership of like, oh shoot, I can't just like willy nilly spend money on getting braids and not really upkeep with my
Right.
hair. And I had to really learn about hair health for young women because it's a big thing. You mentioned certain products with chemicals. I'm learning that too. Certain products have cancerous chemicals.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where black women, they're dealing with all these different things in the salon that could be hazardous to their health down the line. The hair industry is a big $1 billion industry.
Mhm.
And I feel like not enough men, people in general, but especially men, realize what goes into upkeeping hair.
Uh-huh.
So, I respect that you're saying, screw it, I'm letting it grow, fuck it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I respect that. Well, you mentioned Keisha from Total. I'm a big Total fan. Love her.
I love
Love
Total.
Total. Love Total. Which one? Was it Pam? Who has the claws on their thigh? One of them has
I don't
a
know.
tattoo. I
I
because I know
I
you don't
I
remember.
don't. Let me see. Let me check real quick.
I think it's the one who's married to Omar
Omar?
Epps. Yeah,
Then
Omar
that's
Epps.
Keisha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Keisha.
Yeah.
So Pam is the dark one. I forgot. I always forget. I know
Yeah,
there's
it's yeah. I all I know I can't remember which one is Kima and which one's Pam.
yeah Kima. Yeah, that's the one Kima. But
Kima and
yeah,
Pam,
Kima, Keisha,
but I know Keisha definitely because of that picture, like from when I had to, get that cut. So that I always remember.
Right, right, right. So you mentioned high school. Where to let the people know, like, 'cause most of my people that are listening to me, they're from New York
Uh huh.
or tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, some in Philly. You say high school. Tell the people where you from, like where you're born and raised, pretty much.
All right. I was born and raised in San Diego.
Oh, so you are from the West.
Yeah, yeah. Originally, we did do a little bit of moving, not a whole bunch. My dad, he was in the Navy, so
Oh,
he's actually from here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So we moved back here when he retired. But I lived in San Diego till I was about 11,
mm,
and he got stationed in Japan. I lived in Sasebo, Japan, till I was 18. So I went to school there from sixth grade till I graduated high school,
no kidding.
and then moved here to Milwaukee right after, and then been
No
here for
kidding.
the most part since.
What was maybe back in the day you told me that you spent some time in Japan, but I forgot. It slipped my mind. What was it like growing up in Japan?
It was great. It was really fun. It's really safe there. We were pretty much free to just go anywhere as we please.
No kidding.
There was no like parents didn't really have to really worry too much about us, you know what I mean? We were always out and about on the trains and hanging out. There was like an amusement park like right next to our
You were in Tokyo or
housing area. No, we were south, way south, the South Island. Not exactly like Okinawa type islands, but Main Island, the southern Main Island.
wow. So you're saying it was safe and stuff like that, right?
But yeah, it was great. It was great. We were always out and about, walking out into the city and stuff like that. It was actually pretty easy to get around out there.
How was the initial, if you can remember, because you said sixth grade, how was the initial language barrier for you?
It was a little difficult, but a lot of people, they do speak, some kind of English to you. So eventually, as we did learn enough to get around. Of course, we had to take some Japanese classes that was required of us in school anyways.
I
So
imagine.
we learned, very basic things, to kind
Arigato.
of, Yeah, things like that, just to try to get around, just to make things a little more, easy for us while we were there.
Interesting,
Didn't have
interesting.
like full conversations, but we were
I would
able
ask
to.
you, how'd you get by? Like like let's say you like the well, I don't know your preference as far as dating, but if you say
Women.
oh that's right, okay, so shout out to Pride Month, it's June.
Right.
So okay, so let's say back then, if you knew back then, I don't know how early you knew like that you like.
I wasn't like official till I was in my 20s. Like I was just really like wasn't sure until then. And then it wasn't really that was pretty frowned upon,
I can
and then especially in the military, military families like
I can imagine because I'm going to ask you, how would you back then in Japan tell someone you like them or you want to get to know them? Like, what was that like?
yeah, that was like a big no. That was definitely a big no because then it was almost like it was embarrassing to your parents, because like the military is like it's like a big community, it's a big community. People talk. It's like high school almost too.
Yeah,
Everybody talks. Looks at you a certain way, and just stuff like that. And then just things get around, and
yeah, people in your business.
exactly, and then they don't want to be looked at a certain way. Like, even though it's not really you, it's, like, oh, this is how your kid is, it's just,
Shame.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So there was like a lot of people were pretty much everybody that were or perceived as, gay or of some sort, where everybody was closeted. Like, that was just a big no.
Sad
Don't
to
do it.
sad to hear because I mean my life is different. I'm a first generation kid. My
Mhm.
parents are from Haiti, so there is that old world mentality maybe from their lineage, but not really them, but from their lineage. But being in New York all my life, for me, when it's 1997 and Ellen's coming out on her show, she's gonna reveal she's gay, she's a lesbian. For me, I was like, so because like if you go like downtown Manhattan, you're gonna you're wherever you are,
Right,
you're seeing everything, you're seeing culture from different people. Like for you, it's normalized, but I know my privileged life, it's different. It's not like
right.
someone who's a military brat or a Navy person you know, traveling around in different communities. So I get it. I get it. But even in general, like even aside from orientation or who you are, even in general as a person, as a young kid, like just making friends, not even like love life, but just friends. Was it weird making friends with the language barrier out there in Japan? Like was it like
A little bit. It was a little difficult. We did make a few, but it was a little difficult at times. But at the same time, the school that I went to, it's an American school, so
right,
we had regular friends.
cool.
But out in the communities before moving into military housing, we stayed in a Japanese community, and we would hang out every now and again with some of the kids, but not too often.
I'm always curious about Japan because architecturally, I like seeing the buildings, I like seeing the homes.
Hmm.
I like seeing the structures. You mentioned Okinawa. That's one island I want to visit.
Hmm.
I heard it's beautiful. So I'm always interested to see people who live in Japan, were from Japan, tell me their perspective on it. Since you brought it up, and it is June, so it is Pride Month. I want to ask you because I want to ask you. You said in your 20s you really discover yourself or
Hmm.
firmly affirm yourself. Now you or me, both in '85, both born in '85, so we're both pushing 40. I say that because I'm a teacher. I'm in the Bronx, and just the other day I'm with a colleague, a TA, teaching assistant, and I teach special ed, so I have teaching assistants with me.
Okay.
And this new teaching assistant, she was born in '01. Should have known 9/11. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a baby. Yeah, a baby. So I know a baby. She has nothing to know about life yet. Like she's just very
Never been in through the 90s because the
nothing.
90s was a great time.
Best time I would
Man, the
argue.
music and everything.
I just saw an old anniversary of Salute Your Shorts, like a old TV show on Nickelodeon, and I was like, oh my god, my child is right there in front of me. Like
Right.
but and I have a 9-year-old. Well, she'll be 9 this summer now. So we go on this Paramount Plus app and we watch old Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes, and all these,
Yeah.
so like I get to relive some of the stuff through her now, and it's just like, man, you really missed out. I tell her all the time, you really missed out on a great decade. But we'll get back to that because
All right.
I want to share some '90s lore with you that we both can agree on. But I'm talking to her, this colleague, and she's telling me about how like, yeah, I had this job and that job, and I had to take a break. My grandma died, and my therapist told me this. And she's like in her early 20s. My therapist told me this and that, and I'm in school now to finish my therapy, to be a therapist. I'm just like, wow, your generation. And she told me she's also gay, and I'm like, wow, your generation is really it's really normalized for you, as it should, how naturally mental health is, how natural just being gay is, and just all the things that a generation ago we were getting better at it from our parents. We were, but some of our elders were still archaic about what was changing in the '90s.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yo, dude, you have a lot of not privilege, but you have a lot of agency. Where some people in our age group, Nick, still are struggling with. You know what I'm saying? And haven't grown up and grown into with. So it's like, I don't know, have you seen that with people that are younger than you? They're like how like different they are, how more natural they are about their identity, about who they are and
Yeah,
mental
they
health.
just feel so free. I'm like,
Yeah.
it must be nice, because I couldn't be that until I left home, and then and that's the one thing is like, I grew up in a very conservative household. My parents were very conservative. Like I grew up in a box. Like they can be crazy sometimes. Like y'all need to chill. You know what I mean? It's like, y'all need to chill.
I hear
Let
that.
people live. Like it is okay. Let people live because what does what other people doing have to do with y'all?
I hear you. I
You
hear you.
know. But that's neither here or
Where,
there.
where are your parents
But
from, by the way? Where are your parents from?
well, my dad, he's from here in Milwaukee. My mom is from well, she was born in Japan, but raised in San Diego.
Okay. Okay.
And then that's where my parents met in San Diego.
Cool. Cool. So yeah, sorry to cut you off, but you were saying how like your parents are pretty much were archaic. Not archaic, that's a bad word, but
Right.
they're very old school, you would say, and conservative.
Yeah. And then, as I remember, like, soon as, because I had joined the military in my early 20s. So that was basically my time to really kind of just discover myself. This is trying to figure out who I am because, it's like I felt like, I really didn't get much of a chance to be me. And then I just pretty much just went all out. Oh my God, just a hot mess.
Yeah.
Because you just like just go all out. Like I just went too much trying to have fun and just I
I
don't know.
wanna respect your privacy, but let me ask you, give me a way, or give me a way you were able to explore yourself, or not wild out, but as you put it, just be out there. What were you doing back then? Where were you? What were you trying? What were you into?
It was mainly just a whole lot of partying. Like
Party.
because I didn't get the whole, like getting to sneak out and go to high school parties with your friends. And I didn't have homecomings and, things like that or crazy fun proms. They had, regular proms, but we only had so much. Everything was pretty limited when I was living in Japan, and I wanted all those experiences, as much as possible. So, man, I was bar hopping and club hopping, and instead of doing my schoolwork and doing, what I'm supposed to be doing. It was just, I have to have fun. I have to have fun. And then, it just ended up being, just a big problem.
Right.
And then having to be social and having to be cool, and I'm the cool chick, and then, and then a lot of that just starts getting into my head,
Right.
and then all my priorities were, just wasn't taking care of my priorities, and then a lot of those bad choices just pretty much caught up to me, as I started getting older. So some things, well, a lot of those things I've taken care of, but, I still ended up having to pay the price for that, years later.
Yeah, Lupe Fiasco has an album called The Cool. And
Uh,
the undertone of that album is like, you're chasing the cool in life, you'll be distracted and you'll face consequences down the line. So
right.
I get it. I get it being young and dumb and full of you know what. and just trying to chase a social high versus taking care of your business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's hard to tell. This is why now, as a almost 40-year-old, anybody young, I try to tell them, yo, do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't
Right.
do that. Don't waste your time here. Do this, go travel, and make sure you take care of your credit and take care of your finances
Right. Oh my
and
God.
like don't do what I did. You know what I mean?
I wish somebody was telling me this.
Yeah, I wish an OG was like, yo, and to see you wild at 22, but come here real quick. Like everybody for me, let me wild out on my own,
Huh?
and then come to the later like, so tell me what happened. I'm like, no, I need you in '08 or '06.
Right. Exactly. Oh my gosh.
So I can definitely agree with you, and I can empathize with you on those growing pains as a young person trying to figure it out. You in particular, like you mentioned it, like you, because your particular situation of traveling with growing up, you didn't have the Saved by the Bell high school experience of
Right.
like you said, the homecomings, the proms, maybe, and stuff like that. Do you have regrets though about the choices you made or the experience you had from youth, or like you just wear it? Because I think there's no shame in having regrets. You know what I'm saying? There's no shame in that.
I wouldn't say regrets, more like lessons, like just life lessons, because everything that I did lead me to where I am today. And I'm good where I am at today. So I wouldn't say that I regret it. I mean, I wished at times that I made better choices, but, I'm still very grateful where I am today.
You okay?
Yeah, yeah, I was just thinking about it. No, I'm
I'm
good.
sorry.
No, it's all good.
You can tell me, hey, no, not there.
No, no, no. It's happy
It's
tears,
happy
happy tears.
tears.
It's
Happy
happy
tears.
tears,
I'm
happy
glad it's
tears.
happy tears. I'm good. I'm good. They're beautiful tears, happy tears. But I mean, just your tears show that you persevered, though. I could tell.
Yeah,
I could tell you persevered. Even just the way you emote and the way you breathe, I can tell you wore a lot and you went through a lot, and it seems like you came out of it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I'm
yeah. It
proud of you.
was it was a struggle, but it's good. Life is good now.
Yeah,
It
it's
really
good.
is.
I hope so. I hope so because I'm not very the most political person in the world. I am. I pay attention, but I'm not extreme. But I try to tell people younger than me like, yo, if your shit wasn't right then, get it right now because the next 4 or 5
Right.
years is gonna be.
Man,
You know what I'm
it
saying?
just started out just weird.
And like
It hasn't even been a year
has been
yet.
a year, it's barely been 6 months, and you got a cat fight yesterday online of two world leaders fighting it out over nonsense, and it's just like, yo, man. At the same time this is going on, you got people who are older, like losing their Medicaid and stuff like that. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
try, it's
it's
crazy. It's
unfortunate.
it's unfortunate that that we live in a world, let alone a country, where you really from like 5 years old on kind of have your shit together. You can't slip. like, like I wish someone told me back then, like in 11th grade, 12th grade, like, yo, the school you go to, it's gonna matter. The credit card you don't open is gonna matter.
Oh my God, I remember my first credit card.
Tell
Was
me this.
like I was like $3,000
what
at
were you
18.
what were you doing? What were you buying?
Everything, everything. We go into restaurants. I'm buying everybody's meal. Check, swipe, max that thing out.
Oh, you buying the bar, huh?
Man, maxed it out ASAP. Couldn't pay it. Couldn't even pay it.
Frivolous spending, yes. Frivolous spending. I remember being 20, 19, 20 years old, getting my first car. I gotta have speakers. Gotta have that bass.
Right, exactly.
I gotta get. I gotta go to Circuit City or Best Buy, get the tweakers.
Yeah, Circuit City.
City, yeah, get the tweakers for the bass, for the speakers, with the woofer. Like
Right,
it was just ignorant spending. Where it's like someone should have told me, "Hey, you don't need this, right?"
right. And see, they don't really teach you that in school.
They don't,
Finance. Like, hey, this is what happens when you have a credit card. They're gonna get you.
they don't teach you. Yeah, yeah, they don't teach you APRs and all that other
Right,
stuff. Probably, I would imagine to be skeptical, probably because
right,
they want you to fail.
right.
They
Because
want you
that's
to
how they get their money.
yeah.
That's
You
how they
can't.
get their money.
Yeah, they can't make money off you being smart.
Right. Exactly.
Right, right. So you're growing up in a family that's conservative. First of all, I didn't ask you because you left San Diego at 11 years old. Did you ever have any lasting ties with people from San Diego, or that was it? Like you're done with that,
There's, that's a good question.
or was it too young for you?
Some people I ended up reconnecting a little bit through social media. We don't really talk too much, but that's pretty much about it. I have like maybe one or two, people that I'll say, hey, I remember you, type thing. That's about it. But other than that, I have family there.
Right, right.
I go there, a few times a year, visit my aunt, uncle, cousins, my grandma.
It's funny because I have another colleague I'm thinking about. She's half Filipino and she's born and raised in
Uh,
San Diego. So I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, now she's living in Harlem. I'm like, what the hell are you doing on the East Coast when you have that great weather you grew up in San Diego?
right. Because it snows up there. Ooh, and I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the cold. I
Yeah,
do not like the
I got
cold.
you know some more. You know snow more than me.
Yeah, it gets cold here.
Oh, I'm gonna get to that because climate is a big thing for me. But with her, I'm always like, yo, why are you here? Why are you East Coast? And she's like, well, my dad's family is from New Jersey, so I would come here for summers, and I like East Coast people. I like the way things move here, whatever. So I'm like,
I get it.
I get it, but you're bugging. But I get it.
Right.
Yeah,
R-
because I'd be right at 75-degree all year long weather. Like,
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
the
So
weather there is beautiful there. Man,
I'd be surfing all day. I get a blonde wig, just be like, dude,
right.
he just to surf. Like, you kidding me? So nah, yeah, bugging. But you are outside of Milwaukee. Like when I think about, like, I've been to Chicago as far as the Midwest and Detroit once. I was in Detroit once. Those Midwest winters are no. I'm from the Northeast. I'm from New York, and it's like in its heyday, it was blizzard and stuff like that. But you guys take the cake when it comes to snow and cold weather.
Yeah.
How is a young, well, not, you're still young. How is a young woman, a young lady, originally from the West Coast, spent time in Japan? How have you adjusted in the last, what, 20 years it's been? How have you adjusted to the Midwest, Wisconsin weather? What's that like for you?
Oh my God, it's awful. It is awful. The snow isn't too bad. I can handle the snow. It is the cold that I can't handle.
I be hearing negative sometimes.
Yes, yes. It's oh my gosh. It will get so cold that it hurts.
No kidding.
Yeah, like it's sometimes it gets so cold that you can't feel it. Like you really can't feel it. It's the wind.
Just cuts you.
Yeah, it's the wind. It just hurts. It just hurts. And then that's how once it's when it starts getting cold, that's how I'm sure you know too over in New York. That's how you find out how good your car battery is.
Yeah, yeah.
So does it hit? Yeah, it's like, oh, damn. I need a new battery. But yeah, that those 20 degrees and lower, like, and those sub-zeros. I remember one year it was like -20, negative to -50, and it was a state emergency. Nobody's car was working.
It got
Like,
that bad once.
oh yeah, it was some type of polar vortex thing that was going on. It was
It got that
horrible.
bad once.
I was so depressed. I was like, I need to. I
Oh
was
my
so.
God.
It was so bad. Like it gets really cold. Like the snow is not even that ain't nothing. The snow ain't nothing. I can deal with the snow. That's fine. As long as they cleared the roads, that's fine. It's the cold.
It's the cold. Shout out to global warming, even though it's bad for us. And shout out to climate change because I want to say in the last 10, 10, 12 years, we haven't had that many bad winters like it was in the 90s
Hmm.
and the 80s, where like it was consistently back then like 10 degrees and 5 degrees and then 18 degrees. It's been okay. It's been like 20s and 30s in the winter times. Now for us, February is like it's a brutal month. Whenever it's February, that's when you're like, oh, here we go. And
Huh.
it'll get low, but still, like, has it been like a combination of like crazy low degrees plus snow and all that stuff? Not
Right.
really, not in a while for us, for New Yorkers. But you're making me remember how one time, like maybe like 15, 20 years ago, it got so cold. I forgot what degree it was, but it was a day where I had mad errands to do. I
Oh
had a I had a
no.
whole I had a whole list of errands. So I'm ready. Got my Timbs on. I got my puffer jacket. No, it was a snorkel. I had a snorkel on. Everything.
Tim's and a puffer jacket. New York.
Right? Exactly. Exactly. I go outside, take 2 steps, wind and the cold cut my face. I literally on the concrete got to my knees. I crumbled. I said, I ain't doing it. I went right back
Yeah.
upstairs. I said, right back to bed. Like it ain't happening.
Yeah.
So I get it. And that's just one day I can remember. You're
Right.
dealing with that constantly.
Every year. But I mean, the past few years, like the past 3 years, they've been pretty a little on the warm side, which was pretty good. Like it was, which is very relieving. I mean, it was still cold, but I don't even think we had sub-zero temperatures this past 2 winters for once. Yeah, that's a big improvement. Yeah, I don't remember. Like maybe at night or, the wind chill or something, but like during the day or anything like that, no.
Well, then again, shout out to global warming for that.
Right. Let it get warm out here. Let it.
Flip side, are your summers decent? Is there a nice difference?
Last summer was actually a long, hot summer. We usually have, pretty, mellow, short summers. We might have like 2 or 3 weeks worth of hot
Okay.
weather, and then the rest might be like 60s or 70s. But yeah, last summer it was pretty hot and long, unusually long. It was nice. Like it was
Good.
to where like, okay, I'm ready for fall. I'm ready.
It was
You
that
know.
that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, it was like, okay, I'm ready. We're good. We got it. We're all right.
Actually, you just mentioned to me that you're a December baby.
Yeah.
So that means your birthday is. How do you deal with that then?
Not much anymore. I used to, but it's actually not that cold during my birthday anymore. It used to snow around my
What
birthday.
day are you?
Like back the 3rd,
There. Oh, okay, okay.
3rd of December. It used to snow around that time and earlier like November too, and it really hasn't been doing that much the past years. Yeah.
Well, yeah, good, good, good. I wish you more calm birthdays
Right.
because you don't deserve to have that vortex you triggered
Right.
up.
Exactly. Oh God, it's awful. That's so depressing. I just be hating this place. It's like I can't do this anymore. Every time, every winter, I'm just like I can't do this. I just can't do this.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Just thinking about those Midwest winters, I don't blame you. But you mentioned to me not too long ago, we were talking off mic, off air, how you might be moving to Arizona down the line.
Yeah, that or Florida when
Careful,
my
Florida.
dad that right. I
Yeah, be
don't know
careful.
what's in the air or in the water down there, but I'm hoping it's Arizona, but it's whatever. It's my dad, he's gonna retire and they're gonna move, which I think would be really good for them. And I'm gonna move close to them, I'll be just to be there for them. Because other than that, there's really no reason for me to be up here in Wisconsin. There really isn't.
Now be careful because back in like '04, my homegirl, she left New York to move to Phoenix. And that summer, I remember she hit me up. She's like, "Yo, Mike." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "My window from my car imploded." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "I'm going to the mall in Phoenix, and it's like a hot day. It's like 100 and I don't know, 15 or 20 degrees, and I had my windows all the way up. I'm not
Uh
used
huh.
to." And she said the window just imploded, and people around were like, "Hey, you can't leave your car window up all the way some days here because the glass will shatter, or the heat is that strong."
Really?
And she was like, "Hey," like they were like trying to tell her, "Hey, it's different heat out here. Like you get used to it." Like this is
You have to
just
have your windows open?
they were like, depending on the index or the heat index, you may want to have
Right.
your, you may want to, may have and don't have your dogs in the car and stuff like that. I'm a pet owner or it's a
Yeah,
pets
I have cats.
or your cats. Yeah,
Yeah,
look out for
she's
yourself.
actually right here bothering me.
There you go. Yeah, be careful. So I was like, damn man, you can't win nowhere unless it's like,
Right. Oh, see, that's why I just keep telling my parents like we need to get rich. We need to get rich because
for
we get
real.
rich. I'm moving back to California.
Feel you.
Look, we need to get rich. Win the lotteries. Like I want to win the lottery, but in order to win the lottery, I need to play.
Yeah.
I need to play, and I haven't
Mind you,
been playing.
isn't that how it works? I be tight because I read stories sometimes of people who won multiple times. I'm like, why you
Uh,
playing again? Why are you playing
right.
again?
You're greedy.
Yeah, you greedy? What are you doing? Oh, some people are lucky. I'm not lucky. But yeah, can we have can we have the horror conversation?
Okay.
Okay. Because me and you were talking
All right.
off mic, and you told me that you're a horror buff,
Oh my
well,
gosh.
and you're a horror fan, and let me admit that I'm a scaredy cat who likes horror.
Really?
Yeah, so here's the thing. I grew up on horror, man. Like I'm like you, I'm an '80s baby, so I grew up with the Pet Cemeteries and Man's Best Friends and the Fright Nights, and I grew up watching horror and Friday the 13th, and rest in peace. What's his name? But that dude who played Chucky, he died.
Oh, yeah,
Actually,
he did.
no rest in peace to him. You wanna know why? I read that he had a sketchy situation where like he had some minor situation. So like
Mm,
some sexual assault, something with
that's not
something,
right.
something Diddy-esque, something, something Diddy-esque, something Epstein-esque. So
Yeah, that ain't.
um,
That's yeah.
yeah, they're weirdos. So, but I grew up watching Child's Play, all the classics. I never watched
Right.
Hellraiser. Never watched Hellraiser.
I've never watched it either.
So, I be feeling bad when people bring up Hellraiser. I'm like, ooh, never did. But more often than not, I watched my fair share of horrors all my life, especially when I was younger. I was growing up. I was a huge Tales from the Crypt person.
Uh,
Because I had the black box, the illegal cable black box.
yeah.
I had HBO. So shout out to the '90s again. So yeah, I would watch like everything as a kid. I don't know if you're a game. You said you have a gamer headset. I don't know if you are a
Yeah.
gamer.
I try every now and again play video
Yeah,
games. Like I'll play, and then all of a sudden I don't play for months, and then I'll
yeah.
go back to it.
I just sold my PS5. I gave it away. I just sold it off. Like I kind of
Really?
like said, I said, you know what, I'm kind of done, and I've been done for like years. But I kind of said to myself, this is collecting dust when they make money off of it. So I sold it off. But with that being said, I had memories of like being 10 years old when Resident Evil came out. The zombie game, like playing it in the dark and saying, "All right, it's time for Mickey Mouse Club." Like I gotta like
All
get
right.
get happy again. And that's what I mean when I say I'm a scaredy cat. Where like I could stomach and watch horror growing up and now, but I have to immediately like wash my brain with like something happy.
Right.
So I'm not fully like I could sit in horror and that's it. And for the record, I don't even do gore a lot. I'm not a big gory person. So when it comes to like the Rob Zombies of the world
Yeah.
and the Hills Have Eyes and that whole era, like
Terrifier.
I can't get terrified. I can't. I because you'll know this, and you're gonna explain in a second.
Yeah.
There's tears to horror. Like there's tears and there's like levels to it. So like I can do thriller horror slasher with a little bit of gore. But once
Uh,
I'm seeing you hold organs in your hand and stuff like that, I'm like,
like
all
those
right.
Saw movies.
Saw straddle that line. You know what I mean? Where like Saw's probably the apex of what I can handle without getting nervous or scared.
Uh,
I can enjoy Saw as a movie with all its gore, be like, okay, that was fun, that was dope. But after that, like that whole like that Hills Have Eyes, just
yeah.
like,
Ooh, that was nasty.
that kind of tier, or what's the name of that? What's the name of that movie that Sam Raimi? I think he did in the '80s, and they recently redid it too. I forgot the guy's name, but there's a famous horror movie like from the '80s. Sam Raimi. He's the guy who did he's the guy who did the first Spider-Man movies in the early 2000s. Evil Dead Inside, is that what it's called? Evil Dead Inside or something like that.
Oh,
Uh,
Evil Dead Rising?
yeah, Evil Dead Rising. That's it.
Yeah,
Evil
I
Dead
haven't
Rising.
seen that one. But I've seen
Yeah.
the Evil Dead movie like 1 and 2.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those
Yeah, those
earlier
were
versions.
nasty.
That's
Those
right.
were just nasty.
Those movies, that kind of tier, it's never been for me.
Really,
It's not for me. So
where
now
the
that
heads are just popping and bursting
yeah,
open and stuff.
I can't get into it. Like I'm more of a clown from outer space type of person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Killer Clowns from Outer
So,
Space, yeah.
introduction to horror, your whole thing with horror, why you love it, the whole 9 yards. I'm ready to hear it.
Man, it started out, I remember like I think I was maybe 2 or 3 years old.
What?
Yeah, that's when it started out. My parents took me took me to the drive-in to see Pet Cemetery.
No kidding.
I remember seeing that. I was like, "Oh my gosh, of all movies, not a Disney
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah,
We're
no,
watching Pet
that's
Cemetery."
cemetery. Listen, F your
And
life.
right. And it's funny because as you know, me and my siblings were growing up, we weren't allowed to watch R-rated movies or anything like that unless they were horror movies. Like those are the
Unless
only
they were
R.
horrible.
Yeah. So we were only allowed to watch, Disney movies, PG movies, some PG-13 movies, and horror movies. Anything else that was rated R, we were not allowed to watch.
Wonder why that was.
I have no idea. I really don't. Maybe it was like the sexual content or whatever. I have
Maybe,
no
maybe.
idea. But like a lot of black movies, I haven't seen a lot of those. I was like all the way as an adult before I was able to see those. Like I wasn't able to
Wow.
watch any of those movies,
Wow.
which is
Wow.
crazy.
Wow. Like on the flip side for me, like I was like 7 years old watching Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood.
Really?
So like yeah, so like my dad didn't get it. My dad let me watch Scarface as early as I can remember. He was like,
I
whatever.
still haven't seen that.
You still haven't seen
I still haven't seen Scar.
you're not missing much. I'll say that. You're not missing
Really?
much. Yeah, you're not missing much. But my bad, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, but other than that, like, yeah, because I was just so used to watching scary movies. Like, it was just happened to be my thing. I'll watch some comedies, dramas. Like, we don't watch dramas, so I continue to not watch dramas.
Also, you don't care about
Dramas
dramas.
just yeah, dramas are just not my thing. It's love the thrill of horror movies. It's the thrill, It's yeah, that's what's so exciting about horror movies to me. I love the thrill, whether it's an actual whether it scares me or not. It's like, oh my god, is it gonna be scary? It's like, oh, that ain't scary at all. But it's the thrill for me, and I'll watch almost any kind of horror movie out there. I don't care if it's a
Really?
B movie, 2B, like I will watch it.
Well,
It will be watched.
first of all, shout out to because the quality has upgraded in the last few.
Yes, they have. Like it started out as, like just random,
Like a
iPhone movies, you know.
it had that Tuesday night BET movie quality at like
Right.
for like 5 years. But now lately they're
Right.
come up.
Yeah, they coming with the hits now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
They're bringing it.
yeah.
I watch a lot of horror movies on
On
Tubi.
Tubi. On Tubi. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've lately been watching a lot of stuff from this production company called Blumhouse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Blumhouse. You know Blumhouse, I'm sure. So like, there's one I saw recently with Felicia Rashad. I forgot what it's called, but it was like a mind bender. Because the thing about me, I later in life have stopped watching just straight slasher violence horror movies, unless it's an OG. Halloween, I'll always come back to like, yeah, I'll check
Right.
it out. Uh,
Scream, the original Scream.
Scream. I haven't kept up with the last few Screams. I know that they did one in New York.
Yeah, I haven't seen the last few. One thing I'm not too big on is remakes. For the most part, remakes, especially if the originals were really good. Like Pet Cemetery. I loved Pet Cemetery. It was one of the first, of course, it was one of the first horror movies I've ever seen. But I was so disappointed when I saw that remake. I had high hopes where I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. It's gonna be
There was a
great.
remake like in recent years.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe about 5, 6, 7 years ago or so, it was awful.
Yeah,
My
it was
God,
that
it was
bad.
awful, and yeah, it was horrible. And I'm just not big on remakes. I'm just not. For the most part, I won't even like waste my time with.
Feel you. I agree with you. I have the same sentiment, but I got a confession to make. I got a confession to make, and it could be sacrilegious on how you take this.
Uh,
I like, dare I say, I prefer the 2010 remake of Nightmare on Elm Street over the original.
really.
I do. I don't. I mean, it's 15 years ago, so I don't know if you remember it, but in 2010 they did a remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, and I go back to that more than I go back to the original from like the 80s.
I can't remember if I seen that.
it was like it starts out in a diner or restaurant, and the same thing. They following high school kids. The girl, she's blonde, and she's
Of
the main
course.
person. But of
Yeah.
course, of course,
Yeah.
they're blonde. They're blonde.
Yeah.
They're having sex, and they have one black friend. They have one
Yeah.
black friend,
Of
maybe.
course. Yeah.
All the old tropes. But yeah, that one I go back to more because uh being an 80s baby, I appreciate movies from all decades, but some 80s movies I feel like it suffered in quality, like cinematography or how it was shot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some
You
of them
know,
were definitely like B movies.
yeah. So I get like frustrated sometimes watching some old school classics, but yeah, I prefer that one. I prefer that particular remake. But yeah, I'm with you. Remakes in general, it's like, oh man, again, you're doing this or whatever. So I mean, even recently in the last couple of years, they redid Saw, like they did a Chris Rock version or spin off. I was like, what are we doing?
They did?
It was called like Spiral or something like that. It was like an offshoot of Saw, where
Oh my
Chris
God.
Rock was a cop, not the comedian Chris Rock. He was a cop and he gets trapped into it, and it's just nonsense. So I agree. I feel you. Let me give you my taste. I want to have you judge me on my taste of horror movie. First of all, I agree with you. Pet Cemetery is awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Stephen King is just amazing.
Well, first of all, you know what? Before I go off on a tangent, let me ask you: What do you have a favorite Stephen King adaptation or film? There's so many. There's so
Oh,
many. There's so many. There's The Mist.
yeah, The Mist was really good.
There's the what's the one? There's the Dreamcatcher.
Yeah, Dreamcatcher was all right. I'm not too big on movies where I gotta think, and like those mind games, like, oh
Although
my god, because of this happened, and like, I'm more of like pure entertainment. I just want to be entertained.
you want the roller coaster ride, let's just
I,
go.
yeah, I just want to be entertained. Like, oh my god, that was so cool. Like, I don't want to, have to play Clue. You know, that's one
She
reason
said
why I don't like dramas. Like I don't want to
nothing
have to
too
figure it out.
dense. Nothing too dense.
Right. I don't want to have to work for it.
Right,
I
right,
don't
right.
want to work for it.
So do you even care? Thinking back off of that, do you even care about a villain's backstory? Like, does it matter that Freddy Krueger was a janitor who supposedly molested children and the town
Well,
killed?
yeah, a backstory is pretty cool. Understanding who they are and why they are the way they are. That's I appreciate that aspect of the monster because you kind of want to know like why are you doing this type
Right, right.
thing. But at Pets, yeah, Pet Cemetery. Yeah, Rose Red was pretty good. Can't remember too much about it, but Rose Red was really good. I could have sworn I saw some. Was Misery one? Was Misery a
Misery
Stephen?
was one. I think it did.
Is that a
Think
Stephen King movie?
I think it is. Let me double check. But Misery, I think it is. Yeah, Stephen King, Misery. Yep.
Yeah, that one was a really good one. But I think I'm pretty sure Pet Cemetery. But Cujo was a good one.
So,
Cujo. Yeah, and Christine.
Christine. Oh
Christine
my
was a
God,
good one. The
Christine, bringing it
car.
back.
Christine was hilarious.
Oh my God.
That one was actually kind of funny to me.
I
Like, I
think
mean, it's a
Chris.
car, killer car.
Yeah, Killing it was Stephen King too, and Cujo. I'm not sure about. Yeah, it is Stephen King also. Yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. The boy got some classics.
I would say yeah, Pet Cemetery. I think that one was probably the scariest of them all.
Yo, that little baby with a knife in their hand.
Yes, that little baby should have won an Oscar.
Like what the hell? Like I didn't really care too much for part two.
No, me neither. I mean, it was good. It was definitely good, but it wasn't like I have to see it again.
But it's funny. We're almost on the opposite spectrum about this because in my early years of life, growing up, I just like what you like. I'll just straight roller coaster ride. Let's get to it. Let's just wild out and run
Right.
nuts and go. But now I kind of almost as a crutch need the mind bender psychological
Uh,
thriller slash horror because I'm a scaredy cat, which means I need a pace
right.
interrupt the violence. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, oh no, throw a puzzle in there. Give me
Right.
some time. So I kind of need it in a sense. So like when I saw Saw for the first time, and I remember seeing Saw,
Yeah, that's an exception for me.
that's the exception. I was at my
Yeah.
boys' crib. It's like '04. And my boys were like, "Yo, let's go to so and so's house." These two girls. They're like, "Let's go hang out with them. We're gonna watch a movie." All right, cool. I didn't know it was Saw, so I'm like, "What's this?" They're like, "Oh, it's some movie called Saw." And I'm watching. I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 wait a minute, what's happening here?" But I loved it. I loved it.
Right.
I thought it was creative. I thought it was inventive.
It was. That was
It,
really good.
it was unique to me, and I was like, "That's my lane." You know what I'm saying? For a popcorn session too, I love the first few Final Destinations, maybe like the first two. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm hearing the new one. I'm hearing the new one is quality, and I'm shocked to hear that.
Really? I haven't seen that one.
Yeah,
But they're all pretty good
yeah,
though.
yeah. And you know what? I never saw the fifth one, and I heard the fifth one kind of at the end kind of ties things around. So
Yeah,
I gotta
it
watch
did.
that too. I gotta watch that too. By the way, I don't know how you feel. I don't really care about spoilers. I'm a person that you can tell me the whole story. I'll still go and watch it. I'm that kind of person.
Right.
Yeah, like I'll sometimes I like in the middle of a scary scene. I'm like, hold on, let me see.
Yeah, I'll do that sometimes. It's like, this is taking too long. I need to know. I need to know now. Right.
So I when it comes to like horror films today, I definitely rely more on those psychological, not too dense. I don't want to have to do a puzzle mid movie to to figure
Right.
it out. But I want a little bit of mystery attached to my horror. But my biggest subgenre of horror. I don't know how you feel. Growing up, it was vampires, but as an adult, it's zombies.
Zombies?
I'm a big I'm a big end of the world, post-apocalyptic zombie horror type of person. I have this whole fascination about end of the world. How's it going to happen if it ever happens? Will it be aliens? Will it be famine? Will it be disease? Will it be a virus? Will it be natural? Will it be a world war?
Right.
And I'm always curious about that. And in the horror world, I could. It's been 20 years, 21 years. I can still watch Dawn of the Dead like that,
Mhm.
like that. Like if it jumps on, I'm like, oh, I know what I'm doing for the next 2 hours. I'm just that type of person. I love zombies. I didn't really care for the Walking Dead show. I read the comics, Walking Dead, but I didn't really care to watch the show for too long. I tried it for a few seasons.
Right. It started getting boring after a
Yeah,
while.
it got boring after a while. I'm now watching Last of Us as a TV show on
Yeah.
HBO.
That's a
Yeah,
good one.
I'm watching Last
It's
of Us.
different. It's a
It's
different kind of
different. It's
zombie movie.
different.
It's
Yeah.
different.
Well, it's different in that I don't know if you know the because it was a video game first, and
Mhm.
I played a little bit the first one, but it's different in the sense of it's kind of real life scary because in real life, well, the premise of The Last of Us is that they're not just like actual just random zombies. What happens is they are cordyceps. A cordyceps in real life,
Yes.
they can infect bugs, brains, insects, and just bugs in general. They can enter a bug's or insect's brain and control it as a host,
Right.
and kill off the host too. And they've always said cordyceps can exist in those small insects because their bodies, the climate in their bodies, can't fight it off. But as humans, the world is cool enough and cold enough where we can fight off cordyceps. But the idea of Last of Us is global warming is making the cordyceps mushrooms adjust to the climate.
Right. Mutating them.
Yeah, mutating them. So eventually it'll do that same to us. And that's freaking scary.
Right. Because it's like when you think about it, it's like, damn, this could be true.
Exactly. Like so there is that aspect of it where it's like frightening on a whole nother level. But I like I said, zombies are our main thing. But on the vampire tip, I loved Sinners 2 seasons
Yes,
ago.
I finally watched it.
You finally watched it. So
Yes, it
I'm
was
get,
amazing.
I just bought it digitally. I was that much appreciative of it. I bought it deep on Amazon Prime. But I'm glad you watched it. So what do you think?
It was great. I didn't realize that Michael B. Jordan was playing two characters.
Yeah,
I
twice.
didn't know that because all I see is the like the previews, and I'm thinking, oh, it's the same character. No,
Right.
it's not.
Yeah.
But man, that part when they kicked everybody out, I wasn't thinking about their safety once they go out the that
Mhm.
and then they all show back. They show up and they're already bit and turned into
Yeah.
vampires because they went out there. It was like, oh my gosh, that was crazy. That part was wild. It's like I didn't think about that. Like I didn't think about the fact that those vampires were out there. They're gonna get every single one of those people that left, and they all came back.
came back with a roar.
But yeah, it was a really good movie. I
I
loved it. It
were
was
you
it was a different kind of vampire movie.
were you like me frustrated with I'm butchering her name, with the character's name, the Asian lady, the Chinese lady.
Yeah,
Like, come on, man. What you do
and
that
I
for?
mean, I understand where she was coming from, but
Girl,
just to die, I
yeah,
mean, it's one thing. Like, and all she did was go after one person.
right.
Like she went like I could see if she was just butchering like bam, 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 multiple people, you know what I'm saying? Like really doing some damage. No, she just, one person caught on fire and stayed there. She didn't even try to put herself out. She just stayed there and died.
Yeah, like all that for that? You gonna risk your life
Right.
for that? And listen,
Exactly.
and I would, in that juke joint, I would have told her, listen, your kids are dead. All right.
Right.
What's done is done.
Like you're not gonna save your daughter while you're dead.
Yeah, anyway. You tell me what good are you
Right.
dead?
Like it's over now.
Yeah. So
Like, now your daughter's dead for real now. Assuming that they actually were gonna go over there.
yeah, assuming that, because they're probably just playing you to begin with. But I thought it was dope as a film because I felt like it was obviously a vampire movie, which kind of late in the movie it really turned up. Um, but I felt like it really also was a movie about the blues, not just the music genre, but actually the characters all dealing with their own blues
Right.
and having to confront that blues amidst a vampire invasion. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was dope in that respect. A little dense, but still the action of it was fire. It was great. I think Michael B. Jordan, to your point, playing those twins did a great job.
Right. He needs an Oscar for that.
That old trope of sex, those come back to haunt you in horror.
You have to have that in every horror movie. It's required.
Yeah, it's required.
It is
Required.
required in
It's
every
religion.
horror movie.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. But yeah, so as a vampire movie, I think it's up there. It's top notch in recent times. But let me ask you, like, do you have a favorites in general subgenre, or as long as it's
Yes.
what is it?
Possession movies.
Possession movie. What do you mean possession movie?
Yeah, like The Exorcist. That's my favorite horror movie of all time. The Exorcist.
The Exorcist is your favorite horror movie of all time.
Yes, I can watch that every day. Like I'll watch that
Really?
for Christmas. Yeah, yeah. I'll watch Christmas movies too.
Of
But The
course.
Exorcist, that is my all-time favorite horror movie. Like those type of movies, like The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and
I was just gonna
I'll
say that.
watch
Yeah, I remember
all
watching that.
kinds of B movies, like all kinds of B movie possession movies, like all of that.
Possession.
Yeah. They get any type of movie you getting possessed by some type of demon,
Really?
ghost, anything like that. I love those. Those are great because they just start acting crazy. These people just be acting crazy. I
I think
love it.
I'm thinking about the Boondocks. I don't know if you ever watched the Boondocks series, but I'm thinking about the Boondocks. There was an
Yeah.
Exorcist. There was an Exorcist episode with
Uh
Tom.
huh.
I don't know if you ever saw that movie. Saw that
Yeah.
episode.
I have.
Uncle Ruckus was like, "He'll lie to you. Give him a job application." I was like, "Yo, this is hilarious." But exorcism. I don't know how I feel about that because I watched Emily Rose in theaters. I grew up watching Exorcism, but I can't think of too many possession movies that I can run to and say, "Oh, I go to that," or "I rock with that." I not off the top of my head. Like there's Damien. You know, I grew up watching Damien. Never saw Insidious, but is Insidious like that? Like Damien, where like the boy's possessed? I don't know. You know Insidious? Do you know that?
Yeah, I can't really remember because I've seen so many different movies. Like some of them, they
Yeah,
they all kind of just
they all blend
I
together.
know it has like yeah, I know it had like a lot to do with like ghosts and spirits and stuff like that with
Right.
Insidious.
Matter of fact, possession movies horror. Right now, I'm looking at some right now. Stigmata, Don't Look Away, Fallen with Denzel Washington.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't say that was a horror movie, but that was a
Yeah,
really good movie though. I loved that movie.
yeah,
I
I would
remember
say,
that. But it
yeah,
wasn't horror. I wouldn't consider that
that wasn't a
horror.
horror. That's more like suspense, if anything.
Yeah.
Annabelle, they're saying, I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, I guess.
yes, yeah, but it seems like the top tier is those like you said, the Exorcist type. I'm seeing the Lazarus Effect. Never seen that.
Blair Witch Project was kind of possession-ish.
Never seen.
What? You haven't? Man, that movie is so iconic because like it's almost like it started the whole found footage type,
That I know. Yeah,
movie genre. Like it was great because people thought, I remember I was like in high school and everybody was like, "Oh my God, I think it's real." Because you didn't never seen these actors before. Who are these people? So we all thought it was real, just to find out that it really wasn't.
that was the chatter. I remember back then. That was like '99, so I was like going to ninth grade that fall. I was like, okay, is this real or not? And I meant to watch it, but so much time had passed, and it was spoiled to me then that it's not real. And I said, okay, I'll get to it when I get to it then. And it's been 26 years later. I never got around to it. So I do need to get around to watching it, but I never did. I never saw the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah. Found footage movies I like those. Those are great movies. They're
Do you
interesting.
do you classify? Speaking of found footage, I was watching Cloverfield the other night.
Yes.
Do you treat monster movies as horror movies, or are they their separate thing?
I mean, depends on the. I mean, Cloverfield was kind of like a monster movie.
Right, right.
But I wouldn't consider Godzilla
Yeah,
a horror movie. You know what I mean? Or Jurassic Park.
yeah, yeah,
I guess it kind of depends, really.
yeah. I would.
Uh,
But mind you, Godzilla. Was there any like Godzilla lore when you were in Japan? Like, was there any like?
but yeah, Godzilla's everywhere.
Yeah, I can
Godzilla's
imagine.
everywhere.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Yeah, like I was watching an episode the other day of Black Mirror. I don't know if you ever watched Black Mirror on Netflix.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I haven't seen the new
the
one,
new, the
the new season yet.
for anybody who's watching, they ever see Black Mirror? Black Mirror is like one of those anthology shows similar
Yeah.
to Twilight Zone, and every episode is different. But the theme of Black Mirror is it's predicated on technology. There was a season 2 3 years ago where it was a werewolf episode, and
Hmm.
I'm not the biggest werewolf person as far as films, but that was freaking scary. That was pretty like gory, I would say, more than
Trying to
scary. That was a
trying to
pretty good
remember
one.
that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it was with what's her name? I don't know her name, but she's in that show Atlanta with Charles Gambino with Donald Glover.
Huh?
Her name is ZB something ZB. I don't know her name.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think I know who you're talking about. I
she was
just
a
can't
sh-
remember
she
that
she
episode.
was a she was a paparazzi person in L.A. taking
Hmm.
celebrity photos, and she had to go find an actress who was hiding out in the woods somewhere in a cabin to herself, and she had to go find her and
Hmm.
take photos. She was broke and she needed the money, and lo and behold, she finds out, oh my God, this person's chained up. Why they're chained up? And then lo and behold, they're self-chained because they're going through a cycle of being a werewolf.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
that was cool. I think for me, speaking of Black Mirror, to go on a sidebar tangent, the most scary, it is a horror episode. The most scary episode I ever had of Black Mirror. It's this episode called Metalhead. And basically it's about a robotic dog that like it's basically post-apocalyptic. And the dogs, those robot dogs, they have turned on humans and just out killing humans left and right. And you would love it because it's non-stop action, non-stop killing. There is no
Is that the
breaks.
new season?
No, we're talking like
Damn, because I've seen every episode, but at the same time, I was probably stoned when I was watching.
eh, there you go.
I was probably
There,
stoned when I was watching it.
there you go.
Damn.
And it's like I don't know, 2018, 2019, I don't know, but it's a black and white episode. It's black and white. It's just nonstop pulsating action. Like you can't even like grab something or go to the bathroom. You cannot now. You have to watch it. But yeah, it's like, and the reason why it's scary also coming back to Last of Us is because they had those dogs now in like Massachusetts with the cops. Like they have and MIT and colleges, they have these dogs, these robotic dogs. They're not real dogs with like faces and stuff, but they call them dogs because they're four-legged machines that they help cops, they help assist old people. They do like labor for people, but in the show they turn on people and they have like knives inside their arms and
Ooh.
they wild out. So if you're into that Metalhead, you would like the Metalhead, I think. On that name of the episode. But yeah, I like a little wrinkle in my horror. So like I've slowly stopped watching straight slashers unless the villain is that much either charismatic or the story's fire. So I haven't had that in a while. I don't know about you. What's the last horror movie that's like really like giving you like That's really like outside of like Sinners.
There was one movie, it was a B movie. I was very surprised. Like it started out pretty slow. It was, man, what was it called? It was made during COVID.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it was made during COVID, and you could tell because they were all in, it was like a Zoom. They were all like on Zoom, and they were doing
No kidding.
a seance, a Zoom seance, and there was
Yeah,
four people,
sounds
and
familiar.
yeah, they were all on Zoom. Nobody was really in a room together. Like the whole movie was through Zoom. I'm like,
It sounds
okay,
familiar. It sounds
yeah,
familiar.
it was pretty cool. I forgot what it was called, but it was kind of going slow. I was like, okay, this is just whatever. And they had the seance woman, she just up and disappeared, and then one chick, she was pretending that, you know, something had happened, and I guess from her pretending that a ghost had entered her room, it unlocked some type of portal, and something actually did enter the room, and it entered everybody's room, and they were just dying left and right, and it was actually like it was a lot of jump scares and every single scene, like it was crazy. Like it was pure excitement. It just like started getting real exciting all of a sudden. I was like, damn. Like it was really
I got
it
it.
was shockingly pretty good.
Sounds familiar, but I if you get the name, let me know. Let me
Yeah,
know.
I don't know what it's called, man.
Man, yeah, it sounds familiar. By the way, sidebar, COVID, I don't know how it was for you. It was a weird time here in New York.
That was, and it went by so fast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It went by fast. It seems like it just happened yesterday, but it's been 5 years. I don't know what it was like for you in Wisconsin, as far as regulations and whatnot, but here it was like dead stop. No one's outside. The streets were
Yeah.
clear. No traffic.
Yeah, it was so weird. I remember being outside with my neighbor, and we were looking down. We have this busy street, it's called Brady Street, and it's usually really busy because there's a whole bunch of bars and restaurants, and it's always pretty live. And it was just, there wasn't a soul on that street. It was so quiet. I remember it was the quietest it's ever been because it's usually pretty noisy, and man, there was no traffic.
Yeah,
Like it was crazy. Like I had to work. Like I was going to work every day. Like work life did not change for me in any way,
kidding.
shape, or form,
No kidding.
in any way. But the whole wearing masks and running out of toilet paper and hand sanitizer, people acting crazy over, you know, having to get, you know, computer gear and stuff like, oh
No
man, because
kidding.
I worked at Office Depot at that time,
Oh,
and people were acting a fool at
really?
that store. Oh my gosh.
Like
And
crabs in
that
a
was,
like dogs, like crabs in a bucket, dog eat dog mentality. What was that like?
yeah, I mean, they were just coming. Everybody had an attitude. They were just so angry, which I mean, I get, you know, it was a stressful time, but it is not my fault that you didn't come in early enough to get the toilet paper,
Right, right,
or the fact that we only get three computer monitors at a time every week, you know?
right,
Like that's not on me.
right.
As you gonna have to blame the company, you know, but at the same time, people are ordering these things left and right too. So the company can't send what they don't have
Right,
if
right.
everybody's ordering it all
It's
up,
all
you
back order.
know? Exactly. Everything was on back order. Headphones, you know, computer headphones, back order. Webcam, oh my God, webcams gone.
Of course, of course.
Man, people were stealing left and right. Printers gone. You know, just ridiculous.
I can imagine, man. What a time! I now call COVID BC, before COVID. Like, so
Right.
I do life before COVID and not life after. So yeah, here in New York, like Manhattan for a while was like a American epicenter of it. So like you would see like all these bodies.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you would see all these bodies and ice cream trucks being piled up, and
Oh, that was
it
horrible.
was just a wild time over here. And like you said, streets were clear, especially for a city of 8 million people. So for the roads to be clear, it's like what?
Yeah,
It's like what
that's
the hell?
weird.
It was very weird. I'm very dystopia like, you know, post-apocalyptic, which also had me like
Right.
this is what I watch on TV. This is what I like actually. But obviously it was grim. I just remember saying to myself like, wow, life is pretty fragile,
Yeah.
especially for like I remember back in like the fall of 2019, fall and winter, there was talks about COVID, but I guess Trump wasn't taking it seriously. So there was like not a lot of like awareness about it too much. So I remember a colleague of mine, she's older than me. Her husband had gotten under the weather,
Hmm.
and it's like December time, and she said, "Hey, come by the hospital, come visit him. He's under the weather." I want to go see him. I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And the doctor's like, "We can't explain it. We don't know what this is. We don't know what's going on." And then he didn't make it. Unfortunately, we were all like, "Is this that thing? Is this that what this is?" And then like by March, it was like, "Yeah, we got shut down for like a few weeks at work." I'm like, all right, and that didn't last till like that didn't end till like freaking you know July. Well, not really. September, I went back to work. So mind you, I got a baldy. I'm a bald head person. I didn't go to the barbershop for like or I didn't shave for like months. So like me in July was just George Jefferson, like just crazy. It was just straight crazy. You know what I mean? 'Cause what do I care? I'm not going outside.
Right.
You know, I ride my bike everywhere, but I got a hat on, so who cares? So yeah, it was a weird time. But me and my boy Jeff, shout out to Jeff, if you're listening, we had this like running joke where it's like, I kind of miss I kind of miss the pandemic, or I kind of miss shutting down for like a month or two, just like in solitude away from people. Like,
Right. It was peaceful.
yeah, it was a
It
little
was
peaceful,
peaceful.
not at the expense of people's lives, of
Right.
course.
Yeah,
That's,
that was really bad. That
that
was
sucks.
very
No,
unfortunate.
but otherwise, oh, sidebar. Speaking of monsters slash maybe aliens, I'm pretty fond of this is horror or suspense maybe. I'm pretty fond of the Quiet Day or Quiet what's it called?
A Quiet Place?
Quiet Place series. I'm pretty
I
fond
haven't
of it.
seen those yet.
You haven't seen those.
No, I haven't. There's how many of those? Like two or three of them.
There's two linear ones and then one like not prequel but like offshoot, like another storyline
Right.
but you haven't seen those.
No, I
Yeah,
haven't seen those.
check them out.
There's a
And
whole bunch I haven't seen, but I've seen a whole bunch of scary movies, but
th-
there's some good ones that I have not seen.
what's one that you could think about if you can? I know it's on the spot, but one that you feel like I haven't seen that yet, but it's on my list. What
Well,
whatever you have.
definitely Hellraiser movies that you had mentioned.
Hellraiser
The
for
reason why
sure.
I haven't seen those because I remember my mom, she's like, I don't want to watch Hellraiser movies. I've always been afraid of them. So ever since then, we never watched a Hellraiser movie, and since then, I've never watched it, even though I'm all the way grown now.
Right there, right.
Hellraiser movies. What else? Gosh, I don't know what else. I know there's plenty. I do want to eventually see the newer Scream movies because I know that they're doing really well. So that's gotta mean something,
Yeah, you would think.
to where they keep making more.
Right, right. I watched Scream 4, which is like maybe like 10, 15 years now.
Oh yeah, I've seen that
Then I
one.
watched maybe I watched one more after, but then there was a New York one. I didn't see that for sure. I didn't see that. I for sure didn't
Yeah,
watch it.
I seen four. I wasn't too fond of it.
Me neither. Me neither.
I
Me
wasn't too
neither.
fond of it.
This summer they're stuck up on me. I didn't realize this, but this summer they're releasing a remake of I Know What You Did
Yeah, see, I don't know
Last
how I
Summer.
feel about that.
Me
I
neither.
don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I
Sidebar.
really don't.
Sidebar. Back in the day, I didn't mind the first one because anything Jennifer Love Hewitt in the '90s, I was there for.
Yeah, she did have
That's
it going on
for white
back
women,
then.
for white girls, that's kind of top notch quality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I didn't mind her, but
And she had no problems either.
yeah, yeah, she wasn't
You
really
know,
scandalous, no issues.
right.
The
She
worst she did was
wasn't
date.
a hater or
Yeah, wasn't
anything
there.
like that.
The worst she did was date Carson Daly. What are you gonna do?
Right, yeah. Like that wasn't anything.
So, but yeah, but back then, yeah, I liked that note you did last summer. But I'm like, a remake, really? I guess
Yeah.
Hollywood needs their money. I guess you know what I'm
Right,
saying.
it's like they're running out of ideas.
Yeah, the IP, the lack of IP in the last 20 years and just everything has really shown a drought that's just sufferable. You know, no more inventive, creative, um, not just horror, but any movie. Long gone are the days of going to Blockbuster and you know,
Blockbuster.
you know, just saying that,
Blockbuster was great.
just saying that word. What a magical time on a Friday night. Just go to Blockbuster and
I
just
still have my Blockbuster card.
you do.
I will not give it up.
Man, I lost mine maybe like 10 years ago.
I will
Um,
not give it up.
it was a badge of honor just to go on a Friday night, and
Yeah.
my dad be like, "All right, you get two in a game." I'm like, "Word, all right," and just go over there.
Yeah, my dad would always tell me and my siblings like, "Hurry up, go over there to the scary movie section and hurry up and get the new release.
Yeah, new release. Yep,
Hurry up and get the new
new
release,"
release.
because he would be at work and we would, right after school, we would go straight over there, go and grab the movies, and we would have his pass, and he would get us passes, Blockbuster cards. We would go over there and get them.
And it's funny, 25, 30 years ago, it was probably a chore to be like, "Oh man, let me rewind this real quick before go back."
Uh-huh.
Now it's like, I wish I could have that
Right.
that annoyance of just rewinding the tape and having that whole experience of you never know what you got till it's gone.
Right, and it just the way it just phased out was just crazy with DVDs, and DVDs are phasing out.
DVDs are phased out. Now it's all streaming, which not for nothing. It's scary because we're relying on streaming now for everything, and you don't own it no more. You don't own
Right.
these. For the record, they're coming out with a new 28 years later, the zombie movie. Remember, 28
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so there was 28 days later, then there was 28 months later, and now there's or 28 weeks later, or whatever. And now there's 28 years later coming out this summer, this month. And I was trying to rewatch the original 28 days later, and you cannot watch it. And the reason I cannot watch is because there was some drama with the studios, either the distributor or the publisher. No matter what, they can't agree upon something, so the movie cannot be streamed anywhere. You have to either you illegally rip it from like online, maybe on a torrent.
Cody.
Cody, shout out to Amazon, or you can't watch it, and that sucks, man. You should be able to
Yeah.
own certain movies that are either classics or semi classics. So it just shows how like we've kind of given up the idea of ownership to these streaming services, and it kind of sucks.
Yeah. If there was a zombie apocalypse, those are the type of zombies I do not want to have.
So fast
The ones,
ones,
yeah, I don't want the running ones. It's like, man, I gotta run.
run too. I gotta
I
work
gotta
out now.
work. I gotta work to live. Like, damn.
I want Walking Dead slow zombies that
Right.
I can just bypass and dance with.
Exactly. You know what I
Hey,
mean? Like I can walk. Like I can walk. I can, if I get tired, I can walk.
zombies where like I could do a morning jog. And one zombie
Right.
like, "Oh, you're not getting me today." Just you know what I mean? Like, no,
Right.
I don't want no one that never gets tired.
Yeah. Yeah. Because because then everybody's gonna die.
Yeah, that's it. It's
Everybody's gonna
over.
die.
It's over. You can't outrun a track star zombie.
Right. Because they
Usain
running
Bolt.
fast. Like how are you
Yeah,
guys running fast and your muscles are deteriorating, but how are you running that fast?
and God forbid you're a Jamaican or Kenyan resident dealing with zombies. Those zombies
Right.
are those zombies are they're from the Olympics.
Right.
Those are Olympic zombies. Those long
That would
legs.
be horrible.
I always say, this is how my mind, just how crazy I am. I always say, if there's a zombie apocalypse, the first thing I'm doing is going to the water. I'm like, who got a boat? Who got a little mini yacht? What rich white boy do I know?
Right.
Where's Chad?
Uh-huh.
And let me rock with you and be in the sea for the next 30 years because I ain't doing land.
We
I ain't
gotta
doing,
eat. How you gonna eat? Well, I guess you can fish.
I guess you can fish, but
You
like,
can fish. But
like you'll,
then water though, you'd have to be able to.
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess now I should be learning about filtration systems. I don't know why.
Yeah.
That's another thing you need. You need a homie with you who watched Discovery Channel for the last 30 years
Right.
or who watched Natural Geographic. Where's that friend at? Because I need
Right.
to
So maybe a lake.
a lake.
A lake. Fresh water. And they usually got fish in there sometimes.
Isn't it weird how whenever you watch zombie films that animals are never infected? Not really, you know? It's
Yeah, I
always
don't
like
know how they get
yeah, how
lucky.
yeah, why are you immune, Cujo? Like
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, you
that's
know what I'm saying?
except for an I Am Legend.
Right, I am Legend. Right, right. And I'm hearing that they're trying to do a remake too.
It's too soon.
Yeah, it is too soon. It is
That's
too
too
soon.
soon. They gotta wait like 30 years to
Speaking of
do it.
I
It's
Speaking of I Am Legend, when you watch that film and when you watch it on DVD, which is bring it back to DVDs. If you ever watch I Am Legend, you see, and now it's on YouTube, you see they have like alternate endings.
Yeah.
It could have ended this way. How do you feel about that? Seeing like a different take on the ending. Do you welcome that, or do you feel like no, I shouldn't even know that? Like whatever was given to me on theatrical screens, that's it. What do you think?
I'd rather just whatever the theatrical one is, because I'm not trying to be mad after watch. I was like, really, this could have happened.
Because you know what?
Really,
Because you bring up I Am Legend, and it's like there's a scene where like he does survive,
right?
and there's a butterfly reference. I'm like, what the hell?
Uh
So like,
huh.
I'm always like perplexed. Like, why do you show me this? Why is this out
Right.
there?
So
I
you
should,
trying to tell me is there going to be another movie, a
yeah,
sequel?
yeah, exactly. So it's just this is weird, but yeah, so you told me that right now, Hellraiser is a movie you feel like
Yeah,
you need to catch up on.
all of them, all the Hellraiser movies.
Right, right, right. I think they did a remake too. But I don't know about that. But yeah, but so you told me how like you kind of want to eventually start your own content series centered around maybe horror movies.
Yeah, I want to actually write my own stories and turn
Okay.
those into videos. I still got to learn how to actually do it. I gotta read some like creepy pastas and see how to properly write a decent
What's a
horror.
what's a creepy pasta? What's that?
It's this website where people write their own scary stories. There's like
Really?
a whole bunch. It's almost like it's like a Reddit for scary stories. Yeah,
So there's creators on there sharing their stories, and
yeah.
I'm gonna do that later. I'm gonna read some of that
Yeah, I
later.
haven't read any of them yet, but I want to use something like that and create, videos. Like I want to eventually create a web series, like a web series. Like one idea that I have is a horror version of The Wizard of Oz that I want to
Really?
create.
A horror version of I wonder what that would look
Yeah.
like. Interesting.
Yeah, and because I can use it, you can legally use the Wizard of Oz. I forgot what they call it.
It's been that many years. I know what the phrase is called. It's in my head. It's not I. There's a statute for it. After a couple of
Yeah,
years, it's past the years of where you can use it. It's free domain, like a free domain.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm
A
able to use it.
public domain. I think it's public
Yes,
domain. Yeah,
yeah.
public domain.
So I can use the names, but I want to actually read the book, like to see exactly how it's actually done in the book, because I know I can't use the ruby slippers because that I guess apparently is not in the actual book. And
Mm,
some of the sayings that were in the movie aren't exactly in the book. So I got to make sure I don't do that.
right, right, right.
But at the same time, it's still going to be different from the book. But
For
I
sure.
want to I want it to at least be closer to the book than what it is, but away from the movies to where it's not like copywritten, and it gets taken down and stuff like that. Right. Oh yeah, Wicked. I haven't seen that. I like musicals, but not as much to where like I want to invest my time in it. Like if it happens to be on, like, oh, I'll enjoy it. Like, well, more like theater. If I had an ex who was in theater and I really enjoyed going to them. And one of my best friends, he was in theater too, and I really enjoyed going to theater
Nice.
performances. I really like going to theater performances. But watching movies, like I got to be in the mood for that. Like I won't personally go, I'm going to go and watch a musical. If somebody else puts it on, okay, I'll watch it, but I'm not going out of my way to do it
Neither, man.
unless it's horror. A
Uh,
horror musical.
A
Oh,
horror
let me
could
see
you
this.
could you imagine it? A horror musical? Don't I would say that could be an idea. Don't deny that. I mean, I remember in that movie. There's a comedy movie with Saving Sarah Silverman. Is that what it's called? No, no, not Saving Sarah. What movie is it when they're in Hawaii? There's a movie when they're in Hawaii, and the guy he's making a horror Dracula, a musical Dracula. Oh, it's killing me. It's set in Hawaii. It's with Mila Kunis. It's one of those Judd Apatow movies. Mila Kunis, Hawaii. Oh, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. So in that movie, the main character, he is he's a musician, and he makes in that movie a musical Dracula movie, a Dracula theater. And it's funny. It's funny. So don't be surprised if you see a horror one day, a horror musical. I think it'd be fire. I think it'd be fire.
Yeah,
Um,
I definitely would
I'd
watch it.
watch that. Look at that zombie singing. But
All right. Right.
But you'll never see Freddy on ice though.
Right. Oh my gosh. It was Freddy on Ice.
But
Scream on Ice.
Grim on ice, right? But I like your idea. I support you, and I encourage you to go
Thank you.
through with that. You know, start writing stories. You know, I've been reading lately some short stories, like that country.
Mhm.
There was a
Uh-huh. Okay. Lovecraft Country. Okay.
yeah, Lovecraft Country.
It doesn't like the title, it doesn't sound like it's horror, but
No, no,
that's
no.
cool though. That's cool. I'll have to look that up,
Yeah,
definitely.
no, no, it was a great horror series. Only one season on HBO, one
Oh,
season, but it was gory too. But it was everything, and there was monsters, it was everything, and it was dope. It was dope. Jonathan Majors is in it. I forgot the name of that actress. Not Justice Smollett or
yeah.
Journey Smollett. She's in it.
Journey.
Journey Smollett. Her brother had that issue in Chicago.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jesse.
Yeah.
We did not speak of that,
Right.
but
God.
but yeah, she was in a journey, and I would recommend that for you. I think you would like that. Um, but yeah, like I said, I encourage you. Now, for you, off your reference, I'm gonna check out that creepypasta website, and I'm gonna read some of the stories because I'm always interested to see why people, including yourself, are into horror and can think with a horror mind state. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always wondering, like, are you okay?
Right. A lot of this stuff is coming from people's fears, like their own fears
Mm,
too. Like, like what would scare me, type thing.
what would scare you?
Man, everything. No, one of my biggest fears, like one thing I want to write about, like one thing that I do want to write about is you ever had sleep paralysis?
Yes, I would say that I had
You ever had the demon?
define
Like
the did.
I looked this up. Like I've had sleep paralysis a few times and I've always experienced the sleep paralysis demon. And I thought it was just me and I looked it up like what is this thing and apparently multiple people have experienced the same demon. Like it's not really a demon. I don't know really what it is, but it looks like a demon. It's like this black figure with these bright eyes that is just glaring at you. It's so weird. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it's scary. It's like I don't know, but
And
it's one thing.
you felt that or experienced that?
Both.
Wow.
Yeah, one time, one of the times or two of the times, one it was on the wall staring. One other time it was on my bed staring. And the other time it was on my back, kneeling on me. And it's like, and it was crazy because it's like I could feel its knees digging in my shoulders. It's so weird. Like, I know it's not real. Like, I
Right.
know it's not real, but it's just such a crazy experience. Like, why? What is this? And I just remember Googling, like, am I crazy? What is this? And I just see, like, on Reddit and on Google, like other people experiencing the same exact thing. And I just don't understand, like, what is this?
Dude,
But it's a creepy feeling.
there is a one, maybe like 4 or 5 years, no, 6, 7 years ago, BC, before COVID. I, in an old apartment, late night, the door just closed violently in my bedroom, and you could see a black figure. Like,
Mm, mm.
so, is that the demon? You put a vocabulary to it that I didn't have. Is it that? Probably, could be. But what you're describing to me with the eyes, especially, it's reminding me of another recommendation I have for you. Speaking of horror, it's a one series also as well, only one series only. I mean, one season only series. It was on Hulu, on the Hulu network. It's a show called Monsterland. Monster Land it was one season series on Hulu. Every episode is a city. So the title of the episode it'll be a city. So the first episode was like Shreveport something, and the second episode was called Eugene, Oregon. And you reminded me of the Eugene, Oregon episode where a young man is dealing with a black figure demon. in his bedroom as he's a gamer with headphones on, trying to rock out to his game with his friends. And thing about Monsterland is it's a horror series and it does a great job with horror, but there is a double meaning to each episode.
Hmm.
So I would encourage you to watch that series, including that episode, Eugene, Oregon, for
Okay.
that for your demon connectivity. But back to what scares you. So you're saying the sleep paralysis and demons scare you.
Yeah, because when you have sleep paralysis, you can't move. So here's these demons, the demons there. I can't move. I can't go nowhere.
Right.
And so I'm just like saying, like, oh my God, this demon. And I remember one time, like, my ex had came in. Can't stand her, but she saved me. But she did me a solid and came in and opened the door, and I was able to move again, and the demon disappeared. And I was like, oh, thank God, because I couldn't move, and it was just there, just staring at me. Like, it was wild. It is really scary
Yeah, I'm sure.
seeing that, and then you can't move. You're
Stuck.
frozen. It's like it's such a weird feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because you kind of wonders like, was I actually awake or not? You know?
Right. I agree. I've wondered that too when I've had like crazy dreams, crazy nightmares and stuff of that nature where supernatural maybe phenomena around me happening. I'm like, is this real? Is this happening? Am I lucid? Am I awake? And can it really affect me? Can it really touch me? And I also start wondering on a philosophical level or on a macro level, like, all right, let's say these things are real. Let's just go out there on a limb. Like what happened to me in that doorway where the door slammed and I saw that figure. Let's say that's a real being.
Right.
Is there an antithesis to that being out there? If there's something if there's something out there that's demonstrative or demon looking like, is there something on the flip side more beautiful out there helping me or guiding me or around me as well? Or is it only the weird stuff that's around me? You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I was trying to see, is there a balance out there for everything that scares me out there? Is there a balance of something that's out there waiting for me that's good and positive and energetic and well? If there is, I haven't seen it in a while. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So I'm left with those thoughts. But no, man, I hear you, man. Sleep paralysis and demons, that shit is fucking bugs.
Yeah. It's like, so what goes on while I'm sleeping?
What goes on while you sleep?
What goes on when I'm sleeping? What is this thing while I'm trying to sleep?
Are you gonna write about it?
Yeah, yeah, I want to write about it. Definitely. That's
Good.
definitely one thing I want to write about. It's the sleep demon or the sleep paralysis demon.
Well, I know it's getting late because we're almost like pushing 2 hours. So I want to end with this. I want to thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the banter. I appreciate the tears.
Thank you very much. It was very therapeutic. I appreciate it.
I respect you all the more for it. I'm glad we finally got to have like a little powwow session and talk and share and
Right. It
exchange.
was a long time
It's
coming.
been like a decade and a half in the making. If you think about it,
Right. It's been a
a
while.
while, yeah. And I appreciate that we've been able to keep in contact all these years to build up to this moment. I only hope in the future we can even talk more and more and just stay on top of each other as far as our friendship.
Most definitely.
In the meantime, I encourage you to start writing and keep writing. And I'm excited for what's to come for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Anything you want to say before I send you off?
No, just, I hope this podcast blows up.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. I really do it for
And,
I really do it for me and
huh?
for any guests. It's a share and exchange. It's just a release. So whether it happens or not,
Right.
it's all good. But I'm just happy to have moments like this with you.
That's the best way to do it, you do it because, you love doing it. And then anything that happens is the bonus. It's the bonus. But I hope you get that bonus.
I hope so. But more importantly, I'm grateful for you. So on that
Say,
note, Miss Nikki in the flesh finally, or semi flesh, virtual flesh. Until next time.
all right.
All right. So all I ask is before as you bounce out, don't exit out the website immediately because your audio has to upload. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So but on that note, have a good day. I'll see you when I see you.
Thanks.
Till next time.
All right. Have a
Later.
good one.